Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, a whole lot of PlayStation talk. Kasuto, strange. It is deserted. So the Nintendo Cartridge Society is deserted with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including all of the Nintendo announcements at the Sony State of Play last week. And then on Thursday, we are continuing Resident Evil month with a survey of Resident Evil spin-offs. But Mark, in the meantime, how's it going?
It's going great. Have to acknowledge we are recording remotely.
Yes.
Like,
right. Yes, because it is just, Mark, it is just pissing rain out there.
And like all LA residents, we're scared of it.
We're scared, but unlike other LA residents who would just cancel the podcast because of rain, we're canceling the travel component of the podcast.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
I don't know if people consider this a travel show, but it is ever so slightly.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. Every once in a while, we have to travel to. Honestly, every time you or I have to travel to a different city.
Oh,
in order
yes.
to record.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Mark, before we get into what we got to get into today, let's just shout out the Patreon, patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if people are supporting us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, they get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the Movies.
Yes, where Patrick, myself, and usually a special guest are going to the movies together, seeing a movie, and then talking about it. For the month of February, we are going to be talking about Scream 7, which I, of course, am super excited about because I'm making my way through Scream 4, 5, and 6 for the first time. I had never seen those movies before. So
very exciting.
Yes. Yeah. And that's just a few weeks away.
Yeah, I know. I'm so stoked for it. I will maybe not talk about Scream at all right now because we've recorded a couple episodes that are coming out later this month, and I feel like we're going to start talking about them out
No,
of sequence.
you're right. Yeah. No. That's a good call.
But yeah, I mean, we're having such a great time with Resident Evil month, and it for whatever, like, we have transplanted Halloween to February, I think.
Yeah, it just kind of happened, but this is the spookiest month I've had in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think February should be October part 2. Every year.
This is way more October than my October was.
I mean, that's definitely true for me, and it's also like colder and kind of like it feels more autumnal out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's it. Yes, but there's a whole season of NCS at the Movies that you can check out on Patreon. Also, if you want to be contributing at a lower level, like the 4-bit or free level, which is to say not contributing at all, but still subscribe to the Patreon, you have miniseries that you have access to over there. Check it out. A lot of good stuff. Also, things you can do for free. The Discord. Join the Discord. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And we will send you an invitation. You get in there and chat with us. Have a great time. Mark, let's talk about what we've been playing this week. Okay, so couple new releases came out this week, including, Mark, a game you've been playing.
Yeah, that's right. So we talked about it after the partner showcase. I was so intrigued by that Tokyo Scramble game that was shown off there. It's a Switch 2 exclusive that it's about like a young woman who is riding the train in Tokyo. There's like an earthquake or something, and she falls into...
I guess that's both the Tokyo part and the Scramble part.
Yes. Also, I suppose the scrambling is because she's running away from dinosaurs all the time. But yeah,
Sure.
So she's like under Tokyo proper, and there's a bunch of dinosaurs down there, and she has to like escape basically. And I don't know why, there's just something about this game that tickled my brain, and so I picked it up, and I've been playing for a few hours now. I am through like the 6th chapter, I think. And so I am through the first area. You start in, oh geez, it's either Shibuya or Shinjuku. I think it's Shibuya. So you start there, and then I'm now into like the second area, and I just encountered another character for the first time.
Under Shibuya, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, is there like a dark reflection of all of these areas in Tokyo under Tokyo? Okay.
No, it's like train stations and stuff like that have collapsed.
Gotcha.
After the earthquake. And
it's not like Futurama with old New York and new New York.
Yes, that's
on
right.
top of it, right?
That's
okay.
right. But look, this is not a game that I would universally recommend to everyone. But it is kind of my another code recollection pick of 2026, where they're like, for the right person, I think this game like has stuff to offer. It's $30. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's I'm playing on, there's 2 modes. I can't remember what they call them, but one's like harder and one's easier. I don't know how you would play this game on the hard mode, because even on the easy mode, I die constantly. It's a game where I was looking up what other people were saying online, because I was curious how many people were playing it, like what other people thought. And I saw somebody say that it reminded them of like those budget PS2 games where the ambition is greater than their resources.
Yeah,
and I think
sure.
that's spot on. Like the game looks like not great. It's framey. When dinosaur is in the distance, they're moving at like really few, really low frame rate, like all that kind of stuff. But the core gameplay I think is super fun. It feels really unlikely to me, but I think it'd be great if like a speedrunning community popped up around this, because it's totally built for that sort of like replayability and trying to like optimize your run through and all that kind of stuff. It's silly. Like, you're down there, and in between encounters with dinosaurs, you're getting text messages from your friends, and it's such like the dissonance between the like disaster that must have happened to this major metropolitan area and then the stuff that these like young adults or teenagers are talking about it's so funny. Like, they're worried about like relationships and why is this person mad at me, and it's like, what? And like, why are you moving to America? And while this massive destruction must have happened, I don't know, it's goofy, but the core, like, every the way the game works is that every area you enter, they basically so far anyways, they introduce either a new enemy type that behaves in a different way, or like has different strengths, like a different way of detecting you, like all that kind of stuff. And or they are like remixing what you have to do in some way. So, and the different enemies that they have, the different dinosaurs, are actually really interesting, like the different mechanics that they introduce. And you, as you're going through, you have a wristwatch that has like a bunch of apps on it, and the apps can do things like make elevators fall. So it's not realistic, but you can use that to find your way through. But there's no like maps or anything. And so much of the game is like, okay, I think over there in that corner is where I'm supposed to go, but I don't know for sure. And the only way to try is to get over there. And so sometimes you'll just like make a run for it and be like, oh crap, no, this is a dead end. And then you'll be dead. Then you'll die because the dinosaur will have caught you. But it's pretty generous with checkpoints and all that kind of stuff. I did find out why they're called Xenos in the trailer.
Here we go.
The trailer makes such a big point of calling them Xenos. And during some of the dialogue, because the main character, Anne, is like down there by herself, and so she's talking to herself sometimes. And at one point she's like, oh, my grandma told me, because down there she sees that like the walls have like gold in them, streaks of gold, and she's like, oh, my grandma told me that Japan used to be called Zepang, the land of gold. So if they're dinos, how about Xenos or Xenos? Yeah, I like that. And so that's how they get called Xenos or Xenos, whatever.
I mean, that's how she calls them. So, but does she, is it spoken language as she says Xenos or Xynos?
Yes, yeah.
Or
She
is it
is.
printed?
You can choose different like languages, but I have it in English. So yeah, like that. Her stuff is when she's talking to herself. It's all voice acted. I don't
And
know.
that is she saying Xynos or Xenos?
She must be saying Xenos because we had this discussion after the trailer. You were
Right.
saying they should be Xynos, but in the trailer they call them Xenos. And
Yes.
so yeah, I'm sure she said Xenos.
Because
Uh,
they'd be Xynosaurs and not
yes, yeah,
Xenosaurs.
you're
Yeah.
totally right. All of this is to say, yeah, this is not a game for everyone. It's not a game of the year. It's not the most amazing game I've ever played, but I'm having a surprisingly good time with it. I picked it up thinking it would just kind of be a laugh, and I'm actually like feel compelled to make my way through it. I haven't even played Final Fantasy VII Remake this week because
Whoa.
I got like so into it. Also, one more thing I'll say about it. Another thing that's intriguing about it is it does have multiplayer through Game Share, which I haven't tried yet. But what it does is like, it assigns the roles out basically of control. So one person controls and another person would control the camera, so on and so forth. There is no local multiplayer as far as I can tell, but you could basically recreate it by just having a person use the other Joy-Con. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, sure. I get
giving
what you're
each,
saying. Right.
because one person would use it to control Ashley, and then another or Anne, and then another person would use it to just control the camera using the other Joy-Con. I don't know.
So weird, man.
Yeah, it's just like a small little experiment that I don't know if it sounds intriguing to you at all. I think it's worth picking up or at least wish listing for when it goes on sale, because I don't know, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it.
It's interesting that you would give this your another code recollection award for 2026 when there's a Paranormasight game coming out this week.
I know. Well, I think Paranormasites is if it's anything like the first game, it's more competent on every level than either of these games. And from like
Okay.
from a storytelling perspective, from
Gotcha.
like all that kind of stuff. I think yeah, it's easier to understand the appeal of a game like Paranormasight than it is just like from the trailer of Tokyo Scramble.
Of course, Mark, the other big new release this week was Mario Tennis Fever, which you wrote in our notes in this section with a question mark and then highlighted it. And so I just want you to express what that is supposed to denote in our notes here.
I just wanted to acknowledge that the game came out because it's like the big Nintendo release.
It is, yeah.
And I didn't pick it up, and so I haven't played it. And I don't know if you ended up picking it up or if you're waiting or what the situation is.
I am currently waiting, and I don't really know what I am waiting for. I just like as we got like kind of closer and closer to it, and the reviews were kind of like, yeah, I don't know. This is like okay, it's like fine, I guess. That I kind of my hands off, having never experienced any moment of it. Impression sort of cooled, and now I'm like, I don't know if I will. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I get on with wanting to play Mario Tennis. But like, I've got a Virtual Boy coming to me later today, and then games to play on it this week, and so I'm sort of like, I don't know. I think I'll be fine without Mario Tennis for the time being.
Yeah, like the reviews, for, at least I wasn't planning to pick it up immediately anyways, but the reviews for it were disappointing from my perspective because they didn't think much of the like adventure mode. And
Yeah, which I think is sort of like the make or break for you, right?
exactly, because the reviews seem to say that online, generally speaking, is a lot of fun, but I know that's not how I'm going to play this game. And so, yeah, anyways, I just wanted to acknowledge it because it is like the big Nintendo release, and neither of us have picked it up or really have much interest in picking it up, which I would say is generally true of most Nintendo
Mario
sports games. It's
Yeah.
just tennis for whatever reason. I think because I enjoyed the little bit I played of Aces that makes this one stand out a little bit more.
I've got my parents in town this weekend, and they are both big tennis players like in real life tennis. And I wonder if they would have fun playing Mario Tennis, or if that would just frustrate them.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Switch Sports, all and Aces. You have all those games already.
That's true. I've got and Mario Tennis 64 and for the Game Boy Color. Like, there's we do have access to a lot of other Nintendo video games if that is in fact something that I want to subject them to.
Speaking of Virtual Boy accessories, I got mine today.
Yeah.
It was delivered earlier today. I felt so bad for the delivery driver because it happened to be like during the worst intensity of the rain, like when my phone started going crazy with like flash flood alerts and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we're fine, but we're
Yeah.
definitely getting
Yes.
alerts being like, "Don't travel, do not," you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
stay inside, do not drive through puddles.
While like my UPS driver is out there hauling my, $100 plastic piece of junk.
And your $25 cardboard piece of junk.
And my $25 cardboard piece of junk. Anyways, I got both of them. The cardboard one, I don't know why I thought that it would be more like I had to assemble it myself, but you don't at all. It comes pre-assembled.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually pretty cute. And then the big accessory, like the replica, I got that one, and it's like I like some of the details on it. So when you turn it over, it has like they're not real, but they have like a volume button
Right,
type
those
thing
dials,
underneath.
yeah.
But it doesn't like move or anything like that. It's just like molded plastic of where those pieces would be. The thing that I found frustrating about it, and this is such a small thing, but there's no instructions on how to use it in the box. Um,
Hmm.
and so like I could not figure like how are you supposed to get a Switch or Switch 2 into this thing? And it's very possible that I'm just like dumb and it's really intuitive. But I had to look up a YouTube video of somebody unboxing it, and they also were like, "How do you get this thing open?" Eventually, they figured out that you just kind of like lift the sides up because they like lock into place, and it kind of like flaps open, and you
Okay.
put the Switch 2 into there. But like I said, I couldn't figure it out myself. I had to watch somebody else like mess around with it for a while. And it just seems so silly to me. Like I'm spending $100 on this accessory. Like just include a couple of illustrations on how to use the thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that sort of to me feels like it's in the same bucket as like, oh yes, down the road we will make it so you can change the color, but you will still have to remove the red tinted like lens cover. That like they were so eager to like get this thing made and out that they didn't stop to think about like, oh yeah, it will require like a user manual to express like how best to put your Switch in it, or we should make it so that the the filter isn't automatically red, or whatever. Like it seems like just sort of a half-baked idea.
And another thing that's interesting, this isn't a complaint, just something I thought was interesting, is that it
It's a
comes
complaint, you can complain, go off.
both it and the cardboard one are configured for a Switch 2 by default, or at least mine were. But I think all of them are configured for
That makes
Switch
sense, yeah.
for Switch 2 by default. On the cardboard one, it just means that the bottom there's like a bottom like lip where the machine rests that you have to like push up to be in a different configuration. And on the like accessory, the plastic one, it has you would have to like undo 4 screws, and it comes with a second like mounting. It's hard to describe without seeing it in person, but basically on the bottom there's a place where it would like rest, and
But it's something you need to unscrew to do that?
yeah, you would unscrew. There's like 4
Uh,
screws, and it comes with a second like Nintendo Switch specific plate that you would put in and then rescrew. Just interesting because it makes sense that because the systems are different dimensions. I just didn't think of it. Anyways, I'm excited tomorrow for this stuff to become available and for it to actually try it out. But
Yeah, I wonder what time those libraries are going to go live. They've been kind of weird about the NSO releases. It's possible that by the time we're done recording, or like later tonight for us on Monday, that the games would be available too.
Yeah, totally.
Mark, the only thing I've been playing this week is Fire Emblem Awakening, which I am of course playing for the Super NPC Radio Games Club. That is super fun. But man, I'm on hard mode, which I know I've expressed before, and the game is truly hard. I've reached the point where there are these side chapters in the game that usually pop alongside like the main chapters, and they're called paralogs. But now I'm to the point in the game where the paralogs are all connected to the next generation characters, the children of your main characters that have traveled from the future to the past, and that you can recruit. And all of the normal chapters have objectives like rout the enemy, like kill everyone, or defeat the commander, right? So it's really easy in those, not really easy, it is doable in those cases to play real slow and like defensive and let everyone come to you and then take them out. Or if it's rush the boss, to just like get your 4 strongest guys together and make a mad dash for the boss and take him out. Still very challenging, but like imminently doable. The paralogs all have these like extra little win conditions where it's like you have to make sure that you've talked to the recruitable unit first, and then you have to like accomplish whatever they want done on that map, in addition to survive it and don't let anyone die and beat the general at the end and usually defeat everyone. And those extra objectives have made it's so hard. I've done one paralog where I've recruited one of the children, and I think I have like 8 of them open right now. And the rest of them, I'm just like, I gotta come back and do these later.
Oh my gosh.
So it's playing. I've never really committed to playing a Fire Emblem game on hard before, and I'm having a blast with it. And because like a games club is such a like drawn out process, it means that I have weeks and weeks to do this. I really only have to do 3 chapters every week. So like I'm okay with having to restart a fight 10 times. But if I were doing this for fun, I think I would hate it. you know yeah, it's a very interesting experience I'm having with Fire Emblem Awakening.
What happens if you don't recruit the children? Like, what if you don't complete those paralogs? Is it all optional?
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Then you just don't have those characters. That's it.
Oh, interesting. Because it's such a big mechanic in the game, I guess I assumed that those sorts of things were required. Like, you would have to recruit those characters.
So, I mean, it may, just in terms of a like game difficulty thing, it may be that you do have to recruit them, because the children have, in their arsenal of skills that they can equip, they have both skill sets of both of their parents. So like they end up being some of the more versatile characters that you have in the game going forward. They can learn, skills from multiple different classes without having to go through, multiple class level grinds. So it just makes them better than like your other characters would be. So, I'm certain that I will reach a point where I will want to have half of my team be children characters. But I'm just not to the point right now where I can recruit them yet. But all of that is also okay, because the children characters will only get the skills of their parents at the point in which you recruit them. Does that make sense? So like,
Yeah.
I'm leveling up the parent characters, and until the parent characters have an impressive set of skills to pass it down, I don't actually want to recruit the children, and because then they wouldn't have those anyway. So yeah, there's going to be benefit to recruiting them later anyway. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing is a real like, I'm still trying. I still go in to a paralog when it unlocks, try it a couple times, then I'm like, oof, see you later. See you next time, But okay, so that's what we've been playing this week. Mark, let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Normally, this is where we would talk about what has been released on Nintendo Music this week, but we're recording a little earlier on Monday than we normally do, which means we don't know yet.
Very mysterious. Do you think there will be something? Because it's also, we're like this Monday, a little bit of a holiday, but like not one that Japan's going to acknowledge.
Right. Yeah, I would think so. I'm wondering if it's going to be Virtual Boy. Do you think they would do that? Do you think they would
Ooh.
open up a whole new library in Nintendo Music with
Yeah,
some
why
beeps
not?
and boops from I have no idea actually what the music in Virtual Boy games sound like.
You, you're about to, brother.
Well, yeah, I mean, because moving into new releases on today, February 17th, the Virtual Boy for like Nintendo Classics on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch becomes available with 127 Virtual Boy games, Virtual Boy Wario Land. That's the one I'm most excited about. Galactic Pinball, Red Alarm, Teleroboxer, Golf, 3D Tetris, and Innsmouth no Yakata, which is that first-person dungeon crawler type game that has never been released outside of Japan before.
I'm very excited about all of these. I think I'm going to mess around with Innsmouth no Yakata. And like, I don't think I can really hold myself back from Virtual Boy Wario Land. I think the excitement is just going to take me. But also, I want to put some time in on Galactic Pinball and Teleroboxer. Again, my parents are coming in town this week, and like, I know they're going to see this thing and be like, "Wait a minute," because they will recognize this horrible piece of plastic from my childhood.
They're probably still angry about it.
They probably are.
Uh, Also on Tuesday, Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero are getting Switch 2 editions.
Oh, nice.
And then on Wednesday, Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown is released on Switch 2. This is a game that was seen in that partner showcase. And then on Thursday, February 19th, Paranormicite, The Mermaid's Curse, another game for that showcase, is released. I'm very excited for that. And I think that's pretty much it for the week.
Yeah, that's about what we're looking at for the week. Mark, I did mention that previously during a sale last week, I picked up the first Paranormicite game. What's its subtitle?
The Seven Curses of Hanjo or something like that.
Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say like the Island of Dr. Moreau.
It rhymes.
It does. It rhymes. It's almost the same title.
Seven
but I
Mysteries
should
of Hanjo. Seven Mysteries.
Seven
of Hanjo.
Mysteries of Hanjo. Pretty good title. But if I got to get into that, so I can see if it's any good.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope you like it when you have a chance to check it out.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that I just wanted to, I guess, call out that's on the new release list is Hello Mario is released on mobile in North America, supposedly, on Thursday as well.
Yeah, we should. I mean, it's a mobile game, and so therefore it's probably free. We should check it out, right?
Yeah, I think it is it possible that it's also on Switch already? This is from like that My Mario series
Right.
of products that Nintendo is putting out aimed at like introducing Mario characters to preschool children basically.
Right. All right. Well, so those are the new releases for the week. Let's close this section out. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of our show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I'll talk about something not all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Would you like me just ripping through that, Mark?
Almost sound like you almost ran out of oxygen.
I almost did, and I actually usually do, but now you're listening to me in your headphones instead of just across the table from me. Mark, we are talking about BuzzFeed has a list of cake flavors here for us. And we are talking about what are the best cake flavors.
Yes. So there, should we just start with like this person's opinions, which are totally valid, but may differ from our own.
May differ from our own, yes.
Because they have red velvet cake at a definitive number 1, which I don't
it's
know.
Tough placement, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I say no. I say red velvet not number 1. Red velvet good. but I feel like it's too complicated chocolate. You know?
Yes. I agree with that completely. I mean, I'll just be honest. I think my number one is probably chocolate cake. Like easily chocolate cake.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like a nice fudgy chocolate cake.
Uh-huh.
Come on. Come on.
Although growing up, I didn't like chocolate cake. I've never really loved chocolate. Chocolate is not one of my vices. Um,
Right.
like pure
Is it one of
unadulterated
your
candy.
husbands? He
Uh,
doesn't care for chocolate either, right?
I would say he doesn't really like anything that's super sweet.
Yeah.
That doesn't really appeal to him that much. Um, but as I've gotten older, I enjoy chocolate cake way more. And so growing up, I just wanted like a funfetti cake. Like I wanted, I really like strawberry. I really liked like a
Mm.
strawberry cake or like something like that. But now I don't really want any of that for the most part. I mostly, if I want cake, I just want chocolate cake.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel that pretty severely. Whatever it is that makes the red velvet different from regular chocolate is a downgrade in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree completely. Their number two is carrot cake. How do you feel about carrot cake?
Here's the thing. A good carrot cake, good. Do you know what I mean? Like it is not I don't my default position on carrot cake isn't like, oh, that's a great cake, I'm gonna like that. But like, have you ever had the Porto's carrot cake?
No, I never have. Part of the reason why I avoid carrot cake is because it usually has walnuts in it.
It usually
And
has nuts, right?
I'm not allergic to walnuts, I don't think. At least not like where I would go into like anaphylactic shock or anything. But I just avoid them in general. And it just takes so much work to eat around walnuts in a carrot cake that
Right,
it's
right. That would
yeah,
just not be fun.
yeah, exactly.
A, the thing is, a good carrot cake, I feel like has a higher ceiling than most other cakes. But it's just like you got to reach those heights.
Right. Yeah, totally. Totally. And then they have this BuzzFeed list has chocolate cake on its as number three, as we've discussed. That would be our
Pretty
number
good,
ones.
pretty good, right?
What about a lemon drizzle cake? I do like a lemon cake.
Oh yeah. So like a drizzle that sort of implies that there's like a syrupy kind of thing poured over it that like has like absorbed into the cake a little bit.
So their description is that it's like a pound cake with icing on the outside.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Like that kind of a lot. I for whatever reason I don't think of it as like a cake. It feels like a different kind of indulgence, right? It's almost like an after lunch or like a with breakfast thing. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. One of the most uh kind of like shock inducing things that happened when my husband and I we were like early into our relationship and we had gone to Starbucks and wanted to get like a blueberry muffin and he couldn't remember like the word for muffin, so he was just like, I mean, he was just calling it cake. And that really it was a shock to my system because you're like, oh, you're I guess it is. I
He's
like a
pretty
muffin
right.
is just
Yeah.
a muffin is just cake. But there's something about calling it a muffin that sounds like it's appropriate to have for breakfast
Right.
versus if you're like I'm having cake for breakfast, that sounds like you're going through something. But having a
Right.
muffin, everybody just is like that sounds great. We love
That's
that.
total. But I mean, like a muffin totally is just like a little cake.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, he's right. And it definitely it shook me. It shook my foundation for sure.
Right, right. That's a paradigm shifter. That the timer on my phone has now gone off, so we have been discussing this for 4 minutes and 33 seconds, and I think we got through the top four entries on this list.
Pretty good.
What's
I
number
will.
five? I just want to know what number five is.
Oh, strawberry cream cake.
Oh, okay, good. Which something child Mark would have wanted.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I will say that it's interesting. So, for them, for the author of this list, which again, their opinion totally valid, they gave red velvet cake a 10 out of 10. They gave carrot cake a 9.5 out of 10, and chocolate cake is 8 out of 10. But then it starts
Oh,
dropping.
big drop off.
Yeah, it starts dropping really quickly. Number 4 is 7 out of 10, and by the time you get to strawberry cream cake, it's like 6.5 out of 10. like
And this
barely
is a
passing.
top 15. We're
Yeah.
not even out of the top 5, and we've
Yeah.
dropped to 6 out of 10.
Tiramisu for them barely makes a 5.5. Barely better than like a half score.
Here's I said the ceiling for a carrot cake is high. The floor for a tiramisu is so low. I think the worst cake you can have is a bad tiramisu, right?
So they have cheesecake on here, and cheesecake
Hmm.
definitely like like if it's just a plain cheesecake, I feel like it's almost more pie like than cake like. But
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like cheesecake is categorically different from cake.
but if you get like from uh Cheesecake Factory, like one of their like Oreo dream slices or something like
Right,
that.
fresh
That
off
is
the assembly line.
that is definitely more cake than pie. And those I like, but they have cheesecake at number 12 as a 2 out of 10. And that like
This is
I
insanity. What are we talking about? 2 out of 10?
for a plain cheesecake, I kind of agree. I think plain cheesecake is
No.
gross.
No, 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 no. Mark, we gotta close this
Okay,
out.
okay.
We can't disagree on this. All right, that's 433. Mark, let's get into the news.
And what better way to kick off the news section of a Nintendo podcast by talking about a PlayStation State of Play presentation that happened last week? Revealed a bunch of new games and collections, but some of which are also coming to Switch and Switch 2. I would say more than we normally see in like a third party, like a Sony State of Play presentation, which maybe speaks to. I know some of these are coming to your original Switch, but maybe speaks to also like the kind of like good third party support moment we find ourselves in.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does speak to that. It also speaks a little bit to the number of big games that PlayStation wanted to show off that were neither being developed or published by PlayStation, right? Um, that it just the speed at which PlayStation is able to put out games has like really dried up. So yeah, they had a moment with um Ghost of Yotai, like the Legends mode that's coming out in a couple months. They announced like a God of War trilogy remake and like a new like pixel art God of War kind of experience. And the Soros, the sequel to Returnal, which is just a thing that they got to show off again. But like it wasn't jam packed with new first party Sony stuff. But a lot of their third party partners. This almost felt like a Nintendo Direct third party showcase partner showcase part 2, with the number of announcements here that also were hitting Nintendo platforms.
And totally. And to your point about like PlayStation and Sony not having a ton of like new first party announcements, and so it is mostly like a third party showcase. That's literally what Nintendo just did, right? Nintendo,
Right.
I would say Nintendo is in a place where they, so far anyways, have been able to pretty consistently put out a new first party something once a month, which is definitely not a situation that Sony and Xbox are in. But yeah,
Well, Xbox, depending on how you count the Xbox
yeah,
Studios, right? But
that
yeah.
that's true. That's a good point. But I guess what I'm saying is I wonder if we are after a Switch era where Nintendo was for most of its life able to consistently deliver pretty high profile releases. I wonder just how like with the Wii U, Nintendo had a difficult time making the transition to HD in a way that Xbox and Microsoft had that difficulty a generation before. I wonder if
Right.
Nintendo has now caught up to the point where they're like, yeah, we also are going to like struggle to release big first party games on a regular cadence because it's just so darn hard to make video games now.
Yeah, well, and like just because the expectations for like a really good PlayStation game or a really good Nintendo game are, I mean, just like they're meteoric highs, right? Like if you set the bar for yourself at Breath of the Wild, everything's going to be a disappointment, you know?
Yeah, totally, totally. But let's run down some of these third-party releases that will be making it to Switch and Switch 2, including Konami had a whole feature within the presentation talking about a bunch of games. Starting, go
A
ahead.
real like swagger moment of like Konami's back. We're back to making like video games with in our known franchises, and not just being like a pachinko machine and like gym company.
Yeah, that was a weird like. Geez, what was it? Was it like a decade where they were basically like,
Yeah, just about.
we're not pursuing like games in the same way anymore, and then slowly they've just kind of like worked their way back, and Silent Hill is back, and like all that kind of stuff. um so far they have just been doing remasters of Metal Gear Solid and that sort of thing, but I wonder if someday they're going to take a swing at a new Metal Gear Solid without Kojima.
Yeah, I mean that would be crazy. I would almost think that I think you could do another Metal Gear without Kojima, but I think you gotta drop the Solid subtitle.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? I think you
Yeah.
just need to like come at it from like a slightly different angle and be like, no, this brand is a little bit different. It's still like some of the same characters and concepts and stuff, but like, I don't know. I just don't think you can touch Metal Gear Solid without that guy.
That's really interesting if they introduce like a new like sub-series or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about the Metal Gear stuff that was announced. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 is releasing this
Woo!
August 27th.
Hootin' and hollering when I saw this, Mark.
They had like intimated that this was coming when the first one was released, but
Well, because the first one is called Volume 1, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it includes Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, which was originally released on PlayStation 3,
And has never been ported away from it, by the way. And part of that is because like the PlayStation 3 had such a strange like system architecture with its cell processing, that like it was just never successfully ported kind of anywhere.
And also, there was a lot of discussion around it, and I don't know that we have like any answers at this point. But how is it going to, how are on like the multi-platform release? How is it going to deal with references to PlayStation?
Right.
Because I think the game like specifically references like the PlayStation 3 and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that ends up looking like on when you're playing like the Switch 2 version or whatever. Also included in the collection is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which was originally a Vita game, and Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel, which was originally released on the Game Boy Color as like a bonus.
It's nuts to me that so like the trailer was just like Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and then it was like here are the other features in it, and then like during a splash screen at the end, it's like oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid Ghost Babel is like a bonus.
I know I said Babel, but it's probably Babel, right? Ghost Babel, like the Tower of Babel.
Isn't that the Tower of Babel?
I guess I don't know. I guess I haven't had to say it out loud before.
Which is ironic.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. That is a like even. I think it's kind of remarkable that it's a collection that it's like Metal Gear Solid 4 plus this other stuff because Metal Gear Solid 4 is a huge game, isn't it?
I think it's a big game, but like it's a long, linear, weird experience, right? And is like because it's 5 that's the huge game, right? And like if they do a volume 3 of this, it may well just be Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, and the other one. Right, because there's like a little. I'm forgetting the titles of these games altogether, but
I think Phantom Pain was the little like prologue or whatever that they released ahead of time. Yeah, before Metal Gear Solid 5.
But anyway, those would be bundled together. But you can also buy those on like current platforms anyway, except for Switch. So I don't know really what would be the point of doing that. Anyway, what? Oh yes, that it's that this is still a bundle. The thing is, you could buy the individual games in the Master Collection Volume 1 individually as well. So I assume that that'll be the case here. You just wouldn't be able to get Ghost
Oh
Babel
yeah, that's right.
by itself,
That's right.
you know.
And then for Volume 1, it's getting some resolution and frame rate boosts as well, particularly for 1 and 3.
Yeah, 3 Snake Eater has like improved HD textures that they called out specifically. So and you know, they did like a side by side of the resolution of 1 before and after this update, and like it had the, you know, real jagged edges from the original PlayStation release that are all like sanded away, which I guess is an improvement. There are some ways in which like I think I want those jagged edges to make it feel more like the original experience, but this is still a cool little update.
Do you know off the top of your head if Master Collection Volume 2 is coming to original Switch, or is it just Switch 2?
Great question. I don't know. I know that it is coming to Switch 2. I'm not sure if it's coming to Switch 1 as well.
Oh, it is. It's coming to Switch as well. I don't know. There's something about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm overestimating the type of game Metal Gear Solid 4 is, but
it's a PlayStation 3 game. Like
I know.
don't let that get away from you.
I know, but there's a lot of PlayStation 3 games I feel like that ended like when they did current generation ports, they just skipped the Switch. So
yeah, sure.
All right. Also, this one was very exciting to me. Castlevania is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, the series, and so they announced a new 2D Castlevania game, Castlevania Belmont's Curse, releasing sometime this year for both Switch and Switch 2, plus every platform. It takes place 23 years after Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. You play as Trevor, the last of the Belmonts. Looks to be a return to the Metroidvania format, so not necessarily a return to, you know, the first 4 games in the series, but a cool animated style. And Konami says that this is only the beginning for the series' 40th anniversary, and that we should expect more announcements. So very cool.
Which is cool. This is also this game is being developed, you know, obviously being published by Konami, but is being developed by the Dead Cells team. So Dead Cells, which had their like Castlevania DLC content for that game, and obviously like just borrows so much from that format of like running around a map and that like kind of 2D you know, really like Twitch based action combat, gonna make a reprise here in Belmont's Curse.
Interestingly, from what I was reading, that Dead Cells team is like overseeing the development, but
Interesting.
But the team that's doing the actual development is the team that has worked on Dead Cells DLC, which is like a separate third party. So they obviously have a good working relationship because, you know, they have done DLC content for Dead Cells. But yeah, that's my understanding of what the arrangement is. Anyways, I'm looking forward to learning more about this game and also what else is in store for the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
And then a game here that I'm not familiar with at all called Darwin's Paradox, which is releasing April 2nd for $25. Originally revealed as a Switch 1 game, but now just on Nintendo platforms will just be on Switch 2.
Yeah, you play as like an octopus who gets like transported out of the deep sea and is like up on land, and there are like aliens or something, robots. I don't know.
Yeah, it's they tease like a Metal Gear Solid tie-in for it. There's a demo available now. I haven't checked out the demo yet. This game seems very strange.
Yes, but I'm interested in checking out the demo if nothing else.
So that's what Konami had to show at the State of Play, but we're not done yet. So there's a Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition that's available now for $20. Includes 5 versions of the games: MS-DOS, PlayStation, Jaguar, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. More than 120 additional levels from Rayman's new levels, Rayman's 60 levels, and Rayman by his fans. A reimagined soundtrack, which some people are not very happy about.
Well, yes. So it's my look. I'm not a big Rayman fan,
No, me
but
either.
it turns out that the Rayman fans are they love the music in these games, and the fact that there are reimagined soundtracks. There's like sort of two things here. One is that it's a lot of them seem to like change the character of levels from like sort of moody atmospheric things to like um just like more standard video game kind of melodic music. So there's that, but also there's an option to like in the volume sliders where you can like turn sound effect. There are one of these games where they have both soundtracks playing at once. And one of them is like in the sound effects channel and the other is in the music channel. So like it just becomes cacophonous until you turn one of them down all the way.
Oh, weird. That just seems like
Isn't
a
that
mistake.
strange?
Yeah.
I think it is, but yes.
This is kind of neat. The Super Nintendo prototype demo is playable. I think that's fun to include in like an
Yep.
anniversary collection like this. Then there's also like 50 minutes of documentary footage about the series and the games. Like you said, Patrick, I have never beaten a Rayman game. This is not like a franchise that I have a lot of affinity for, but keeps chugging along.
Well, and here's a look at where it came from. So
Also, speaking of games that I've never played before, there's two here. Legacy of Kain, Defiance Remastered, launches March 3rd. This is a 2003 game that is coming back with updated graphics, camera controls, and other stuff. And then they're also introducing a new retro-style 2D action platformer in the Legacy of Kain series, Legacy of Kain Ascendance, which launches March 31st.
and if you look at the, I just want to shout out the title treatment for Legacy of Kain, Ascendance. Ascendance is one of the hardest words to read in that title treatment because they make the A in Ascendance and the E at the end of Ascendance like sort of opposite ends of a triangle. And like the E at the end of it is just totally unintelligible. I recommend you look up Legacy of Kain Ascendance and tell me if you think that word is easy to read because I'm telling you it is not.
We also saw from Capcom Pragmata again and Resident Evil Requiem with very different focuses, I would say, than what we
Yeah.
saw in the Nintendo presentation.
Yeah, I mean the Pragmata in particular is it seemed like they are much more story focused in the PlayStation State of Play, whereas like Nintendo was very much like here's how you hack the robots and fight them, and this one is like this is the little girl and the man talking about like, well, did you like to draw when you were growing up? Did you know your parents? Like all that kind of stuff.
And then in Resident Evil, when they showed off Resident Evil
Right,
Requiem, a lot of the there was just a lot more violence.
just way more. Yes,
Yeah, because in the Nintendo
explicit gore.
presentation,
Yes.
they cut away from any like gore at all. But that was not a choice made for the State of Play.
Nope.
Hey, we heard something about Mina the Hollower. It got a
Yeah.
new PlayStation 5 exclusive demo. But they also revealed a new release window for the game as spring 2026.
Which, hey, after it was delayed out of October of last year, the Yacht Club Games updated the release window to 2030 on the Nintendo Switch store, which is, no one thought that it was actually going to be 2030, but like that's disheartening to see. And yeah, it sounds just to have this sign of life is nice.
It is interesting. Like, I feel like when we had talked about it previously, we both assumed that the next time we heard anything would be
Yeah.
like a release date or like a it's out now. So, yeah, interesting to see this demo pop up, to see a new release window, but still nothing concrete yet.
Yeah, I don't think it was part of this presentation, but after it, Yacht Club Games social media or their blog or something like that was saying that Mina the Hollower is the biggest game that they've ever made, and that it has more individual maps in it than all of these Shovel Knight Treasure Trove combined.
Wow.
So like I think it's just an enormous, albeit like in a Game Boy Color style, enormous game. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
We also saw 007 First Light again, still out. on May 27th. And then we got another look at Game Freak's Beasts of Reincarnation that is still coming to every platform that isn't a Nintendo Switch.
So there you go.
I do feel like sometimes, or like with something like this, it feels like Game Freak kind of asserting their independence.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was most of or I think all of the Nintendo related stuff in the PlayStation State of Play. Mark, did you watch this thing as it happened, or just kind of like catch the trailers later? Or...
Yeah, I didn't watch it as it happened. I just kind of caught up with it later.
Yeah, we were watching it in the Discord. Basically anytime there is a direct or presentation or state of play or whatever, we're watching it live in the Discord and sort of commenting on it. And it seemed like this one had like some real moments where people were like into it and excited about stuff. So yeah, pretty cool presentation.
A few details about Pokemon Pokopia have trickled out in the publicity blitz in the lead up to the game's release next month. The previews in general have been super positive. I actually don't know if I saw a preview that was not like excited about the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a hand selected crowd of people who are into either Pokemon stuff or Dragon Quest builders. But yeah, likewise, all the impressions seem super positive, which is something I've been saying since we saw it first, and saying everyone's counting this out, but I don't think we should. It looks good to me.
The main story, we learned that the main story should take between 20 and 40 hours to complete, which is a really wide range.
Yes.
And that
huge.
And that there's plenty of post-credits content available as well. There's also this idea of cloud islands which are available in multiplayer, which allow many players to access a shared island even when the host is not currently playing. Similar, I think, seemingly to like the Dream Islands in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah, or there's a like doing a private persistent world in Minecraft, right? So that you don't need to have like one person whose island it is or whatever that is always on while you're playing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, the game is not that far away at this point. So, this is another one where I don't have plans to like pick it up at launch, but am really interested to see what the reaction is to the full game once we get reviews and stuff like that.
I'm very excited for this. This is a day one for me.
Toy tie-ins for the Super Mario Galaxy movie are starting to be revealed, and probably unsurprisingly, there is a lot of Yoshi stuff. Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, they know
it's Yoshi.
Yeah, he's Yoshi. There's a Hatchin Yoshi toy that comes in an egg, and you like. So I was watching a video demo of this, and they were saying that they had sped up the process. So that way, when you like activate it, you take it out of the box, and then you start like tapping on it, and then Yoshi broke out immediately. But from what I was seeing, or from what the person was saying that was doing the demo, the actual experience would take a little bit longer than that. So you would have to like, you take this egg. It's pretty big. I don't know how big it is. Maybe like a foot tall, something like that. You take it out of the box, and when you take it out, it basically triggers it to start like being activated. And then as you tap on it, it wiggles a little bit, and you can hear like Yoshi make noises inside. And apparently after you interact with it enough times, Yoshi starts breaking out of the egg. The thing is that it's a one-time hatching. The like breaking out of the egg thing.
Like Mark, honestly, like all eggs.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I mean, an Easter egg, could be like an Easter egg where
sure.
like a plastic.
That's not a hatching, though. Come on.
But yeah, so he breaks free and then becomes an interactive toy. I've got to say, from what I saw of like the toy's actual interactivity, seems fine. Seems like a perfectly good toy. But that the hatching part of it really is the most exciting aspect of it.
Yeah, I think you meant to say the hatchin.
Yeah, that's right. No G.
I don't. It's that always that replacing the G with an apostrophe in an ing verb is it's that like fake cool, right? Or it's like trying to be hip, but like is sort of lame in that it's so focused on language. It's so funny to apply that logic to the word hatching.
Well, you know, if you're marketing a toy, kids don't
Yeah.
want kids. They're talking in slang all the time, as I understand it. So,
Kids are always saying stuff like hatching.
so there's that one. It's gonna be like $50. And then there was another Yoshi toy that stood out to me. It's like a posable figure, but it comes with accessories. I don't think it's that big. I think it's basically like an action figure that has articulated arms and legs and stuff. But it comes with a New York City hat, a messenger bag, and sunglasses. And this is Yoshi we're talking about. Yoshi is wearing all this stuff and looks great. Looks super cool.
Yoshi with a messenger bag. I don't, for whatever, I don't like it.
I love
The
it.
hat and hat and sunglasses. I'm like, okay, I get it.
It reminds
Messenger
me of
bag?
I don't know. I feel like you know, I guess maybe I just want to style myself after this Yoshi. Maybe that's what.
Right.
Maybe that's really where this is coming from. But I'm getting some
And I would support that. Yes.
but I'm getting some Boshi energy from this.
Sure. It's the sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean it certainly doesn't hurt for sure.
Right.
And then finally, hey, remember how there was a Jurassic Park Classic Games collection that came out on Switch via limited run games like 18 months ago, 2 years ago or something?
Yes.
Well, it's being delisted on March 31st. So if you want to play any of these 7 air quote classic Jurassic Park games, including the you have editorialized here as messy but fun Super Nintendo game.
I think the Super NES game is pretty good. It like goes back and forth between being like an overhead, almost Zelda-esque game to when you go inside buildings, it becomes a Super NES first-person shooter. Which, like I said, it's messy but fun, right? But yeah, it's really Mark. What happened here? I guess limited run also just has limited licensing on their games too to like publish these things. But it's crazy that just effective the end of this quarter, the collection has to go away.
Yeah. It is interesting because it doesn't feel like it's been out that long. Also, when you have that Disney Afternoon collection, just
Right.
for example, which has been around already for almost 10 years and just got new life on the Switch too, to have this one with a much more limited shelf life.
And with less games I'm actually interested in playing. Now that I know that it's going away though, I feel like I have to buy this.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right.
All right, Mark, let's close out the news. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. You should be in our Discord. If you're not, email us, nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can find more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.